Welcome to Applied Technology Podcast. Talking technology, you're talking applied. Hello and welcome to another ATG podcast. Today, our topic of discussion is EMS. And for those of you that are asking what that stands for, amongst other topics that we've had, well, that's Emergency Medical Services. And here today joining me is Jean, Mark, and Ray. They'll go ahead and talk about their specific knowledge on the topic. Jean, if you can explain to us how ATG, which is Applied Technology, offers EMS entities.
Definitely every type of business we approach with a top-down solution. So we start with RF consulting. It typically involves working with the client directly, interviewing them and determining how they currently communicate and how they currently dispatch, then evolving that into a brand new system that's IP-based. It usually involves RF consulting. It involves FCC licensing. We offer project management throughout the entire project. We can manage the furniture. We can manage the dispatch equipment, the radio equipment, the rooftop antenna systems. We handle pretty much, like I said, top to bottom.
Right.
It can be a naked building and we can start from scratch, or we could take existing systems and modernize them, kind of like you would remodel a house. We can use new modern digital radios. We can use newer desks that stand and sit for longer use times. Seating that is designed literally to sit in for hours. I know that sounds strange, but it is designed for long use. We have the capability of providing all of those services, consult you all the way through the project so that you're picking what works best for you and what your budget supports.
It goes definitely from beginning to end. And Ray, what is vehicle upfitting? We're hearing that term. What is that, if you could describe it?
Well, basically, vehicle upfitting is installing lighting, radios, AVL systems, GPS, pretty much anything a customer needs in a vehicle we can install. We've done most of the fleet of the fire department now. We've been doing their trucks and SUVs, putting in all kinds of lighting equipment in there, and their radios, inverters, pretty much anything, any vehicle we can do. We've done motorcycles for BPD. If someone wants something on a bike, we could probably figure out how to put it in there. Basically, whatever you want installed, we can find a solution and a way to do it. I've yet to encounter anything where we couldn't put the equipment customer wants into their specific vehicle.
So, Mark, what are some of the solutions that we've performed for EMS?
Well, the biggest solution is two-way radios. When a call comes into the dispatch office for the EMS, it gets dispatched to the vehicle, and then from the vehicle gets called out to the hospital. So two-way radio communications is very, very crucial to that. With those two-way radios, when they're calling into the hospital to let them know that, hey, we're dropping a patient or we're bringing a patient to you, there's a voice logging recorders that we've installed that capture the voice of the communication that's coming in with the two-way radio. So they can actually go back through and, hey, I didn't hear what they said. I need to hear what's going on. So that way they can kind of prepare themselves what's coming in. We do a lot of interoperability solutions, so EMS can basically communicate across numerous ways, numerous platforms. So there's your basic channels, then there's your med channels that you go into. The biggest thing that we do, honestly, for them is the two-way communication, because there's always somebody on the other side of the radio.
Yeah. And it's not just anything. I mean, we're talking about lives are at stake.
Correct.
And the fact that these departments trust us with their technology, I don't take it for granted. Like, it says a lot about the company itself. And Jean, what are the main priorities when handling EMS accounts?
Well, uptime, reliability, their ability to, generally speaking, when we work with EMS agencies and any dispatch centers or hospitals, fire, public safety, uptime and reliability is the most important point of discussion. Power backup methods at our radio sites. So if we're building a radio system for them, we'll look at redundancy. If one site should fail, can it fail over to another site successfully and keep the communications up? If it's in a dispatch center, are there backup power systems? Are there backup network systems? If the dispatch system fails, can it fail over to another server and pick up the traffic? So we design with all of those things in mind, and reliability and uptime and redundancy. And then we have to generally shape that to the client's budget, but we always strive for 100% of the time we want to be up and running with backup generators and backup batteries and backup power systems and network systems. Generally is the client that kind of brings us down off the ladder, because we typically like to have the most redundant and reliable systems we can build.
Where do they start?
The initial meetings are, there's never a charge for that. And then as we just develop a project around it, that's when we start looking at, budgeting for, commissioning that project and making it happen. This doesn't just apply to emergency medical services. We can generally provide a lot of these types of solutions to any scale of business. If you're interested in safety and emergency communications, we have solutions that directly relate to EMS, but can be also applied to any type of business that is interested in safety and emergency communications.
Right. And how far out do we go as far as, so we're doing Bakersfield, but how can you name some other maybe states we've also helped in this technology?
We've been to Guam, right? So generally speaking, where the work takes us. I'm not going to say we're a dying breed because we're growing, but the RF consultation and RF engineering is somewhat of it's becoming kind of a lost art where we're getting less and less people that are qualified to do what we do. The type of work we perform and the solutions we provide are highly specialized, highly technical, and we are in demand because there's so few of us. But we're willing to travel wherever the work will take us and wherever the design services are needed.
Yeah, and as much as we're in California, up and down the state, we really have been to even a broader range of areas. We've been to Alaska, where we tied in streetlights through the RF radio signals of what we've done. So it's pretty unique of some of the stuff that we do, because there's not a lot of people that can figure this stuff out. I'm not saying that there isn't, but with what we do, we kind of put our heads together to really figure this out to make it work. But we really will travel pretty much anywhere, as Gene was saying earlier. But given the opportunity, we definitely want to help.
Well, so recently we even did a statewide dispatch system for a law enforcement agency that connected all of the dispatch centers across the state. So that was a pretty big project that we got the opportunity to do and install at we traveled from city to city installing dispatch centers and trying to keep them identical, consistent, and keep it all interconnected. But that was a pretty big project for us, and it was something that not just anybody can do.
Well, we've recently completed a huge project over at a military base in China Lake, where we replaced probably hundreds of radios in vehicles and fire trucks and things like that. Our reputation has allowed us to do these things, and they reach out to us to get it done. I believe that project was coordinated through E.F. Johnson, who basically were hired to put in the product out there. Also, a big customer of ours is Granite Construction, and we've gone to different locations to put in radios into their trucks and dozers and things like that. Some time ago, we were dispatched out to Edwards Air Force Base and did some installations right outside the base for them so they could have communications. Pretty much, wherever they want us, we will go.
Yeah.
We recently did a huge project that Gene coordinated in Lompoc with hundreds of vehicles out there. And that took months to complete, but the agencies at the coast know who we are and rather have us drive out there to perform the job than hire someone that's closer by, which is really good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely everywhere, and it says a lot about the company versus just staying in-house, indoors. But so much that we could do, so much that we constantly learn and grow and know how to adapt to the ever-changing movement of technology. So that's amazing. Gentlemen, any last thoughts?
Thank you for letting us share.
Of course, sharing your passion and what you guys love to do, that is awesome. And I'm pretty sure our listeners can also feel that passion, because it's amazing when you guys speak of what you love to do, and that says a lot too. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. And I do want to give the phone number for the company, 661-322-8650. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.